This is what we've all been waiting for. It's the video that every single person does when they do a DCP and everyone waits for, and that's the video of them spilling the tea. So I don't have tea, but I have Diet Coke, so. First off, hello if you know who I am. Welcome back to my channel. Otherwise, hi. My name is Lauren. I worked this past summer at Walt Disney World on the programs that you all have heard of, and I thought I would come today to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Disney College program. So before I hop into this, just a little bit of background about me if you do not know. I actually did a CEP, it's a cultural exchange program. It's the exact same thing as the Disney College program, except for it's for international students. I am Canadian. Like I said, I was there for 3 months. I was there from May to August. I got attractions, I got attractions, which I was really excited about. That was my first choice. I'll talk about that later though. And then for my actual role, I was placed at main entrance attractions at Typhoon Lagoon, which is one of Disney's water parks. I am going to make a whole video on working at the water parks and all about the water parks and all that stuff because I had a little bit of a unique job. If you're doing main entrance attractions at any theme parks, you're usually just doing touch points, which are those balls. You're a greeter. Boring. But at Typhoon, because we were really small, I did that. I did parking. Some people got traded tickets. It was kind of a mess, so I'm not going to go a ton into specifically my job because I'll talk about that later somewhere else. But that's me, Lauren. A text, hello. I'm Lauren, Canadian, attractions, Typhoon Lagoon. That's all you gotta know. So, should I talk about the good or the bad first? Let's start positive. The good, I have a few things from my heart, and then I also asked some of my friends that did programs on Instagram to like reply to a question if they had anything. So I'm gonna read stuff that other people have said about their programs. A lot of these people have done like actual college programs, not my international program, so don't get too mad. I will talk more in depth later, but a lot of people said cast exclusives, merch, stuff like that, CM opportunities that otherwise you couldn't do, obviously free park admission. One of the girls talked about holiday discounts, which I didn't get to do because I was only there in the summer, but they have like a Christmas discount where you get like a crazy % off merchandise and stuff like that. A lot of people said meeting so many people, getting to spend time with all these people when you had days off. Rachel, one of the girls I worked with, so cute. She said being able to wake up from a nap at 4 p.m. and be in front of Cinderella's castle at 5 p.m., which is so true. Like, being able to wake up and be like, man, I could really use a drink from Epcot right now, and like literally just going to Epcot is still kind of mind-boggling to me. And then Melissa, who I worked with, also said jelly rolls, and then she said, no, it's already too busy, no one go there. But jelly rolls, gotta do it. And now my list of things. The obvious one is the park admission. I should have brought it with me, but it's in my bag. You get your blue ID, which gets you into the parks for free besides like really random block out things. Like, we were blocked out from Toy Story Land, but otherwise we go to all of the parks all summer. That's the big one. Guest passes so your family and friends can come. It's another big one. You get that when you work a certain amount of hours. Discounts is the next huge one. I have up on my Instagram in my highlights, I have when I stayed at the Polynesian, which was amazing. I could never afford to stay there otherwise, but they had like a crazy end of summer discount because they weren't selling rooms. So I managed to stay at the Poly with someone else for, I think it came to $180 US a night, which is nuts. If you know the Polynesian, it's like $400 to $600 a night normally. I stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, even when they weren't having a good deal with my mom. That was fabulous. There are some restaurants you get 40% off at, so that was really cool. I kind of like rigged the system, but I managed to get, they had a lunch special at Le Cellier, which is like the bougie steak restaurant in the Canadian Pavilion, but it was $50 for a 3-course meal and then 40% off. So it came to like, after tip even, because they auto-gratuity you, it was still like 40 bucks for a 3-course meal at a fancy restaurant. So that's obviously a big one. Cast exclusive merch and cast exclusive like opportunities. I'm wearing my DCP alumni shirt right now, or my Disney Alumni Association shirt right now. You get this when you graduate. Have it actually right behind the camera. You get your little Disney internships box when you graduate. is really cute. I have a cast member, like a Disney cast member exclusive Spirit jersey. Love that. They had Toy Story exclusive stuff. All of the lanyards that you see everyone haul in their hauls, those are cast member exclusive. You have the store Cast Connections. So the reason I bought so much dumb stuff, like I got this cup from Cast Connections. It's Tower of Terror cup. It was regularly 20 bucks. I got it for $4. There's stuff like that. Cast exclusive opportunities. So the big one that I did was Sunrise Yoga, which is you wake up and you do yoga as the sun rises. At Magic Kingdom before it opens. I know they did Sunrise Yoga at Animal Kingdom this past week as well for cast. That was cool. They have something called Backstage Magic where you can sign up for contests so you can win like backstage tours and like stays at hotels. My roommate Steph won a exclusive like cast preview to Toy Story Land the week before it opened. So she took me. Thanks, Steph. This one can kind of vary, but for me it was pretty easy work for the perks. When I think about the jobs that I did before, I've worked in retail for forever, and my jobs that I did before Disney were way more straining on my mental health. It was, people just yelled at me all the time. This job was so easy for me. Like, yeah, I was waking at 5 in the morning. Yeah, I was working 14-hour shifts, but relatively, it was a pretty easy job. And I don't know, I kind of joke about how I'd never go back and do parking, and everyone says they'll never go back and do parking, but then like one of my coworkers, Courtney, just accepted another parking CP because it's Disney, and if it's at a park you want, you just take it. You don't question it, and it's pretty easy work. And then obviously the people, I will preface this before I get into any of my bads. I was not excited to go into my CP. I didn't like my role, I didn't like my job, I didn't like my location. I was not happy about it. If you know me, you know this, but I left loving it. I love my job. I love the location. The people were fantastic. I know other people had problems with their leaders who were like their managers, and they've been like super strict and super rude about stuff, which made them not like their locations, or they've had people that are catty and their fellow cast members have been jerks. I didn't have that at all. I didn't fight with a single person this summer. My leaders were absolutely fantastic. I had family in town and I couldn't get days off, and they literally like called me and they were like, hey, we know your mom's in town, it's not busy, do you want to have tomorrow off? Like, they were so great. I love them. I have nothing bad to say about them. They're fantastic. Obviously this doesn't happen at all locations, but we had the golden cone at my locations. So, like every week they pick someone that like embodied the 4 keys, and they got a little award, and they got to like sign something. Like things like this made my location so worth it. And like I said, some people have issues with like leaders and fellow cast. I had none of that. I loved it. I love everyone. I still keep in touch with them. Literally before filming this, I just commented on one of the girls' Facebook statuses that I worked with about Typhoon. For the negatives, the first thing is the hours, and it can go both ways. You can either be barely getting hours, they guarantee you 30 hours a week. You can either barely be getting that and be making no money, or you can be totally on the opposite side of the spectrum and work crazy hours. I averaged between 30, I started getting less at the end of the year, but I'd say between 35 and 50 hours a week, which is great for me because they do give you long shifts. Some people may not like that. I was into it, but again, I don't know if you call it a positive or a negative, but at least once a week I had a 12 to 13 hour shift because we had the like Typhoon Glow parties in the summer. So I worked a lot of 9 to 10s, 10 to 10s. I worked some crazy ones. The latest shift I had was like 12. I think it was supposed to be 1 and they let us go early. So it wasn't that bad. But I got really lucky. A lot of people in Magic Kingdom have like 15-hour days, like working in a kitchen. Quick service is kind of notorious for this. Magic Kingdom's also notorious for this. Just for working like nutso hours and people hating it. So be prepared to either be scraping by and have no money and work no hours, or be working all your hours and then constantly picking up and constantly trying to grab more shifts to get more hours, or be totally overloaded and be working like 60 hours a week, because it happens at Disney, unfortunately. Also with that, there's pretty much no consistency. You never know when you're gonna work. You never get 2 days off in a row, really. I did a little bit, not a ton. Some people had crazy things where they were working like 16, 17 days in a row. And then because of that, I don't know if it's different for American CPs, I'm pretty sure it's not, but you do get overtime, so time and a half, but you don't get double overtime, you don't get holiday pay, you don't get 7th day, you don't get all of those perks. So they're already paying you next to nothing. I'm not gonna say how much they pay you, but you can easily find it online. Everyone gets paid the same, but you don't get paid very much, and you don't get any of the payment perks, but it's pretty much because you're getting park perks instead. So I guess if there was the good, the bad, and the ugly, this would fall under the ugly. I think people expect crappy pay and they expect long hours, that's fine, but this is like some other stuff that even if I haven't necessarily experienced it, I know it's a thing for DCPs. The first one is like cliquey feelings, or people feeling like college program kids are treated differently than other cast members, which definitely exists. I didn't get it too much in my location. We had a lot of seasonals because we were only like a seasonal open park. So there wasn't people that were there for a really long time, or if they were like all coordinators and stuff, so they were really chill. So personally, in my job, I didn't really get discriminated against at all, and people were really nice. If I need more hours, people tried to offer up hours, and vice versa. It was really chill, but I know people at other locations had problems with like part-timers or full-timers really fighting for hours or not wanting hours and forcing them to switch shifts and being really rude to them. The only time that I really experienced it directly is I was going into the park as a guest one time, and I had not even my blue ID out, because you're not supposed to have your blue ID out even though everyone does it anyways, but I had hanging on a lanyard my housing ID because I was running from the bus stop to meet up with someone, and then I'd come from work, so I had all my work stuff in my bag, and the person working security was like, literally, I'm not kidding, was like, "Are you a CP?" And I was like, "Oh, like, I do live in housing, I'm on a different program." And they were like, "You know that you can't have any ID out." And I was like, one, I literally don't. And then she went through my bag and literally like picked apart every tiny little thing, which is fine, it's security, and then like started pulling out like these things that I couldn't bring. Like she told me I couldn't bring like my lock, like a locker lock, and I was like, I literally just came from work, I bring this bag with me everywhere, I've never had a problem. This was like 2.5 months into the summer, and she like reamed me out for this, and I was like, this seems like, if you weren't discriminating against CPs, why would you ask me if I was one beforehand? That's the only time that I've had a problem with it, but I know it's a thing, and I know CPs tend to work certain shifts. At a lot of locations, they get like the crappy, long, late night shifts. Again, I never problem because my location was great and they loved all of us. With that, I know some people have had issues with their leaders. Like I said, my leaders were fantastic. I love them. It's sad that they're all on like temp jobs, so if I go back, I don't know where they are, but I love them. They were great. For the most part, they listened to what you wanted and they tried to make it nice for you, and they were always available. But I know a lot of people say their leaders aren't around, their leaders are covering a huge area, it's impossible to get a hold of them, they've never seen their leaders, crazy stuff like that. But I personally never had that problem. So one, I don't want to like rip into this, so I'm just going to mention this briefly, but some of the training is aggressive and it's thorough, and I get why it's thorough, but some people can't stand it because it's very like repetitive, and if you have people that stick to the rules a lot in your location, it can be annoying because a lot of the training things don't reflect real life a lot. The only one that I ever thought was ridiculous is Disney Look. I think I get where they're coming from, but Disney Look is so strict and they need to change it. It just needs a zhuzhing. I get some of them, like I had to wear my nose ring flipped up, I'm fine with that. I have stretched ears, I had to put normal earrings in, I'm fine with that. But like I have a little tattoo on my leg. It's not very big. It's like this big. It's on my calf. I talked to them in the interview about it. We had a conversation. I was like, I need somewhere that has high socks or somewhere where their regular costume is pants. This is the only tattoo I have. It's the only thing I need to cover up. And they put me in a position that didn't have high socks and didn't have pants. And I was freaking out about it because technically high socks like aren't Disney Look for my position. I wore them anyways. I never had a problem. My location, as I've said before, was great. They were very chill. They were very lax on Disney Look, which is nice. I loved it. But sometimes, like, I know especially in Magic Kingdom, like if you have like eyeliner that's too eyeliner-y, they'll make you take it off, or like face makeup that's too dark, or a lip color that doesn't match. Like, I've heard crazy things about Disney look because it's so specific, and it's mostly Magic Kingdom that I think sticks to it. But like, I had my sleeves rolled up one day, like literally the sleeves were like this long, and I had them cuffed once. Like, I had the bottom cuff cuffed up to be like a normal sleeve shirt, and they told me to uncuff my sleeves because it wasn't Disney look. We didn't have, for parking, it's a skort. Just look up Disney World or Disney Parking Cast. Ooh, it's a costume. And people didn't want to wear the skort because it's like 8 buttons to undo it when you need to pee. So girls asked if they could wear shorts, because why wouldn't we be able to wear shorts? The main entrance cast wears shorts. That's their costume. We were told it wasn't Disney look to wear the men's costume of shorts. Things like that were annoying. And the last thing is the system they run on for punishing people is kind of silly. I hate saying silly because I don't want to say ridiculous, because ridiculous sounds like extreme. But they run on a point system, so you get points, and after a certain points you get reprimands, so on and so forth. But the thing that I don't get is if you are a minute late or an hour and 59 minutes late, you get the same punishment in the system. Which is nice, because if you wake up one day and you're already 5 minutes late, you can just like screw off for an hour and a half and you won't get punished any differently. But there's definitely been days where I've like been waiting to clock in or something and clocked in 30 seconds late, and it tries to give you half a point. Again, usually if you talk to people, my coordinators, my leaders were great. They removed it. I left with a pretty clean record card. It's silly. So don't, if you have a job where you can like roll up a couple minutes late, don't get used to that, because Disney will rip you a new one. The last 2 things that are really, really annoying, which is what I had most of my issues with, are things leading up to the program. This one didn't affect me too much, but I know it drives people crazy. The hiring system for all the programs, besides I think PIs, is pretty much an automatic system. If you miss certain things, you automatically get cut. Humans don't even look at your application. So if you don't have a cover letter, if you fill out something wrong in your application, you're automatically cut. If you miss keywords, because computers just scan through the resumes and information, if you miss keywords, you'll automatically get cut. I had this happen to me with one program. I was like, I literally have the qualifications that you want. I've worked for Disney. I have a clean record card. I can work whenever you want me to. And just the way that I worded it, I think, is probably what screwed me over, because instead of saying one word that was in their posting, I accurately described the job I did, but the job I did had a different title than this job, and if their computers were scanning for this word that's in their application, we all got cut. I had a girl that I know, she said that she applied, I think 3 times for the college program, exact same resume, exact same cover letter, all 3 times, got it twice, one time was no longer in consideration immediately. It's silly, I don't understand, but it's a thing. The other one is the lack of communication and lack of description of jobs. You kind of have to dig to get your own information on what you're doing and what's considered what. So I went into my interview, my background, I've been in retail for almost 10 years. I've worked in a kitchen before, mostly retail management. That's most of my experience. That's the word I'm looking for. So top 3, I had attractions, merch, and Cedar. And I had attractions as my number 1 because I wanted something different, and I thought it's something that would really give me a chance to like work in Disney World. I'd never been to Disney World before my program. It's the only time I've been there. I'm a West Coaster. I'm a Disneyland person through and through. I thought that attractions, I'd have a chance of working in a theme park. I'd get to work a ride. It'd be really cool. I knew main entrance fell under it, but I was like, that's totally fine. I can like screw with that. That's great. I didn't know very much about Disney World. I was just starting to research it like as my program was coming up. After I'd been accepted, I got attractions. I was so excited. I have a video, I'll throw it somewhere, of that. I was so excited. I was like, this is my time. I got everything I want. Week before my program, I get my itinerary email, and I'm at Typhoon Lagoon, which I didn't know what that was. I am not a beach person. I'm not a water park person. I'm not a swimming person. I was like, this is not what I wanted. And then I got my entrance attractions, which I was like, fine, whatever, that'll be touch points. This is frustrating, but at least I can pick up at other parks. You can switch shifts, stuff like that. And I got over that. Flash forward to training. In training, they tell us we can't pick it up at other parks. We're as trained as other park staff, but we can't switch, we can't pick up, we can't do anything like that because we're considered a different like section. Like the theme parks were different than like other activities, which was like Disney Springs, ESPN, and the water parks. So that was really frustrating because that's the one that everyone kept telling me when I was annoyed. I was at a water park, people kept saying, oh, you can pick up, you can work here. That was annoying. And then once I got into training, I didn't hear anything about parking up until this point. And then they handed me my training itinerary, and my second page was a totally different costume, totally different training, and it was parking. And I was like, I don't want to be outside. This is my nightmare. Everyone kept saying like, oh, like parking is in attractions, but you won't get it as an international applicant. It's a safety critical position. People never get it. I start training and 85 to 90% of my shifts were in parking. Don't get me wrong, I grew to love parking. Was great. You start early every day, you can ER every day, you can get overtime easy. We sat in the back a lot, did nothing. Like parking was great. I love parking. I switched to parking shifts at one point, even when I got my entrance because I liked it better. But I feel like there's a lack of information about what is considered what and what you can end up doing, because I think when people get attractions, they think they'll be in a theme park on an attraction, and like I know a girl that got ESPN parking. Like imagine moving across the country to work at attractions at Disney World and getting ESPN parking. This video was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like 10 minutes, and now we have like 40 minutes of footage, so we're doing great. So that was it. That was my good and my bad, my tops and my bottoms of working at Disney World. Overall, I loved it. It was great. I worked with fantastic people that I totally see myself being friends with in the future. I do want to go back. Why is my computer like blowing up? I have no friends. I do want to go back. I do eventually want to do the cultural rep program, which is working in a pavilion. It's a year long. I'd kill for that, but that doesn't seem like it's in the cards right now. So as long as I can enroll in classes next semester, I will be back next summer for the CEP. Obviously, if they take me, we'll see. I don't know what I want to do because now I'm a little bit nervous about attractions because your girl is not ready to do parking full-time at a theme park. It's very different at the theme parks from what I understand. But I think the company was great. Obviously, the things that sucked, they suck, but you deal with them. Also, I was fortunate, besides those last things like I said, I didn't deal with clicks, I didn't deal with bad leaders, I got really lucky. So if you got put at a water park and you're nervous, don't be. Typhoon is really chill and it was great. But again, we'll do a whole video about typhoons, they're brilliant. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you just got accepted for spring, congratulations. Hit me up down below and tell me what you are doing, and maybe I'll know people who did it and I can point you towards someone who's already done that job. Or if you've done a Disney program, let me know what you've done and if you loved it or not. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want more shenanigans like this, and I will see you guys hopefully sometime soon. Bye!